Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to Rassle Rock with Rick Connor.
What the F was that entire freaking promo about?
Mark Callbacher.
She's like the James Ellsworth of women.
And Cory Castle.
I look like Paul London and Brian Kendrick mixed.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Rassle Rock. Cory Castle is not here, having big-time hair problems, apparently. His extensions came out. He had to run to the salon. The salon, his normal salon's closed due to, everything, the global situation that we're in. So he's on a mad dash for hair extensions, so he can't be here today. It's very, very, very sad. Very sad day in the world of Cory Castle.
Apparently his roommate Grey Wolf pulled on his weave and some of his tracks came out.
Poor Cory Castle. Always getting one-upped by Grey Wolf.
So we had a weird week. I was gonna say it's just a weird week in wrestling. We were trying to figure out where we even start. Raw to me was better, but still like forgettable. The Fight Club thing looks like it's starting to flesh out. We'll see where that goes. If it gets any better. They definitely dropped the porn music and the girls. So I guess they got slammed on that and cut that loose immediately. But it looks like it's getting better. I was just confused because I didn't get to see SmackDown because of work, and I'm catching up on it now. What the hell is going on with The Fiend and Braun Strowman? That's what I want to ask.
Yeah, man. It's crazy right now.
Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Why is it okay for Alexa Bliss, who's just got tossed by her best friend, best guy friend, and that's okay? Now, does that make The Fiend the bad guy now, or is this all a mind game? Is Alexa in on one of the sides? Like, it's just annoying, dude. And the laughing, I can't do with the laughing anymore. I can't.
The laughing's a bit obnoxious, yeah. I don't really understand what's going on with the whole Alexa Bliss thing, and like you said, it's really hard to tell who's face, who's heel, what's going on. I thought Braun was just gonna murder Alexa Bliss in the main event there, or in the last segment of SmackDown. Picked her up over his head and just dropped her. The Fiend came out to make the save, and Braun Strowman was gone. So he's like playing the same games that he's playing, but then Bray Wyatt.
I heard, the thing about The Fiend is like basically he's a reset button for guys that are stale, and like he redid Finn Balor, so Finn Balor no longer loses on Raw, he just loses on NXT all the time, and then Seth Rollins went evil again. Of course, his gimmick supposedly, it doesn't bother me, but I've been hearing a lot of stuff that like a lot of people hate his whole Jesus Savior gimmick. But like I thought it was going to reset Braun to like the I'm not finished with you flipping over ambulances guy, and now he has magical powers where he can disappear and reappear on the screen, and like it's just really what the hell is going on with my angle of my camera today? My hat looks like it's like this way. I'm just like confused. So now he's like he has magic powers now too, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That's why I thought maybe you could shine some light on it.
It's really hard to follow. Like he dragged him down to the swamp. We thought he was dead at one point. We thought he was just drowning in the swamp. And then, we found out he's not. He came out of the swamp evil somehow, as you do when you come out of the swamp, when you almost die in a swamp. You're just evil now. And I think he kind of...
That's true. That's what happened to Swamp Thing, and he's a superhero. And so his Man Thing is a superhero. So I don't know what WWE...
That's true. That's true. Maybe because it was Bray Wyatt's swamp. Because it was the evil swamp, all the ashes from the burnt down Sister Abigail house that Randy Orton lit on fire fell into the swamp and made it. I'm making stuff up, dude. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. But the Fiend doesn't make any sense. So I'm kind of okay with it just to see what happens. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's stupid when I don't really know what's going on. And we're going we're gonna figure it out at SummerSlam. SummerSlam's a week away, and we're gonna find out then what happens.
And then another thing that I've talked about this on the show before. It drives me crazy. Is Braun shows up with no hair. Okay.
Yeah,
you and Baron Corbin, you don't understand. Like, you guys act like you're wrestling fans, especially Corbin. Not really Braun. I don't think Braun's as big as like a classic wrestling fan as Corbin was. And you don't see the fact of having a hair versus hair match with someone to lose it. Like, it's always a fun gimmick. It actually gets people to watch. And then Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are going to actually do the hair versus hair, which I'm excited for. Yeah. Because I think they're one of the best feuds in all of WWE right now is those two girls. They have the best storyline. I think they have the best storyline on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. And Sonya Deville is like leaps and bounds like on the mic better than she's ever been. Or maybe she was that good and she never got the time. But she's great right now. So yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that. I don't know how this is going to work because usually – when's the last girls' hair versus hair match? Was that Molly Holly?
I think, yeah, that was Molly Holly way back. When was that? That was like
20 years ago, probably.
Yeah, that was like early 2000s. Yeah, I'm excited for the Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville match. I'm glad that it's a hair versus hair match because when I saw the scissors come into play and they cut out like a little bit of her hair, and then she came on the next week and she was like, got a trim. It's like, okay, she didn't make her ugly like she said she was going to. So I'm glad that this is like where they're. I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but I'm glad that this is where they were building that up to.
Why wouldn't they just jack her hair up for a few weeks and then she can go actually get it styled? If that's what. And so she kept coming in with her hair all messed up and like wanting revenge. And I mean, what are you doing in quarantine in Florida anyway? I don't think anybody's going to notice your hair being messed up for a couple weeks till the pay-per-view. I don't know, dude. Like. But you know what? Like, honestly, like I said, they have one of the better long-term storylines. SmackDown has probably the three best long-term storylines. Bray Wyatt right now is weird, but it's actually been going on and it has a lot of history to it. So it's okay. It's a little overdone. But yeah, the girls, and then you have Becky. I'm sorry. What you call it? Sasha Banks and what you call Bailey storyline that's been stretched for. Now they're talking about trying to stretch that all the way into Mania.
Into Mania, yeah. I don't know how to do that. That's gonna be quite a stretch. If they're just gonna continue on with what they've been doing, though, it's been working. I've been really liking it.
Well, I guess the next step is now Asuka is the main. She's the number one contender for both belts. Mm-hmm. So I guess the theory is Asuka goes into SummerSlam and walks out with one of the belts, and whoever she defeats starts building like animosity towards the other one still having the belt, and I guess that's where everything will finally go south and start building towards Mania. But yeah, it's like. It's a shame. SmackDown isn't the greatest right now, but like for long-term storytelling, they're way better than anything Raw's doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
the way I would do it with the whole Asuka situation, definitely have Asuka win the belt off of Bailey. This way, Sasha Banks is the top girl out of the two of them, which wasn't the case for a long time. It was always Bailey, protect Bailey's belt. Like, Sasha Banks is there and she's great, but at the same time, it's Bailey's show. So if now you turn it into the Sasha Banks show, that completes like that creates like a whole different dynamic for the two of them. And I don't know if Bailey is like her character. I don't know if she's equipped to take that step down with her ego. So that's how I would book it. I definitely wouldn't have both girls lose to Asuka and then have like they keep on throwing around Asuka 2 belts, which I get it, but no, I would definitely just take that belt off Bailey.
I mean, if they're going to do an Asuka 2 belts thing, the only way I see that is if they're unifying the women's titles and they're only going to go with one women's title, which I'm cool with Asuka being the main person to carry that. And then maybe this builds into that Shayna Baszler storyline to kind of hint around to, and they keep coming down to like it's Asuka and Shayna Baszler as the two badasses when it comes to the girls. Like they're going to wrestle soon, which I'm excited for. I need I really want Shayna to be elevated because she's so good and she's just sitting around doing nothing. And that's the other cool thing about the hair versus hair match with the girls, with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They're just not another women's match on the card now. There's actually something at stake that's not a belt. You know, you don't always need a belt at stake for these matches. So I think that's going to be a really, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a huge Asuka fan. I think Asuka, and especially the Asuka Sasha Banks out of those two matches, that's gonna be off the charts again. Those two, they have insane chemistry. So that's gonna be a great match. And then was it this week that Asuka? Yeah, that it was the only good match on Raw, Asuka and Bayley, and that match was phenomenal. I don't know, man. I always thought the two women out of the Horsemen, even though I'm a huge Becky Lynch fan, her and Charlotte got way more attention than they should when the two better wrestlers were always Sasha and Bayley. I always thought they were the two better female wrestlers out of that four.
I mean, Bayley's gimmick got stale when she was a face after a while. Like they just kind of ran out of stuff for her to do. But you know, and even in the beginning of her heel run, people were like, "What the hell are they doing? What the hell are they doing?" Now she's the hottest woman in wrestling, in my mind, anyway. She's got the hottest character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really turned it around, and I'm glad that they stuck with it.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes Vince. I don't know if it's Vince or his people. Like sometimes they're too quick to jump off a gimmick before it even develops. Like we still don't even know who the hacker is. That's over. You know, like they have like Shorty G was supposed to turn bad. Next thing you know, Sheamus turns bad again, and Shorty G loses to him. Like they were building up. What's her name? The crazy Scott. Alexa Bliss's friend. Alexa Bliss's best friend.
Nikki Cross.
They're building her up. They look like she was going to finally leave Alexa, and maybe they'll feud. And now Alexa's like tied into the storyline with Bray Wyatt, and Nikki Cross is like relegated to being in the back room after Retribution beats up a bunch of referees. So I'm glad that they actually have been sticking to some storylines and like giving us something to like actually be interested, because besides match quality, WWE is not good. Like their match quality is fantastic, but storylines are just like, it's really hard to trudge through some of these storylines.
Yeah, it's been rough the past couple of weeks, past couple of months. They just haven't had anything really good to go on. But like you said, the matches are great. Drew McIntyre is doing great as champion. The Randy Orton storyline is doing really well. The people that are up top are doing fantastic, and even mid-card stuff is really, really good. They started to build up the tag teams a little bit with Cesaro and Nakamura. Like they're going against the Lucha House Party, and it's good. Like it's insane. Like there's not really much of a storyline there other than the Lucha House Party wants the tag titles, but it's good. They're great matches.
Of course, I mean, it's Lucha House Party. Like there's these three guys. Like Grand Metalik, like was this huge guy that they brought from Mexico. They were looking for the next Rey Mysterio, and he can't speak English. So next thing you know, he gets dropped to nothing. But like he's phenomenal. And this Lince Dorado kid he's great. And now they got Kalisto back, so they got all three of them back, and it adds a fresher dynamic to them versus Cesaro and Shinsuke. And dude, they're just going to put on great matches. Like the one thing about SmackDown's tag division, it's always more entertaining than anything that's going on Raw when it comes to the tag division.
Yeah,
I like the Viking Raiders. I like the Street Profits, but besides that, Raw's got nothing on SmackDown when it comes to tag teams. So
I saw there was some meme or whatever, some video that somebody put out. You remember when the Viking Raiders cut that awful promo in their car eating turkey legs, and they're just chanting Viking Raiders all over the place? So somebody mixed that with the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song. So it's like, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Viking Raiders. It fits so stupidly perfectly. If I can find that, I'm going to throw up on our Twitter, on Rassle Rock's
No,
Twitter.
definitely do that, dude. That sounds fun, man. Jesus Christ, they were Viking Raiders. They were war machine. Like, like one of the greatest tag teams in the last 20 years, and now they're like relegated to like skits, and they're losing again, and they're not even like in the tag hunt right now. I mean, tag. It's just weird. I don't know. And that was the other thing I want to bring up, because we're going to talk SmackDown. I mean, not SmackDown. We're going to talk SummerSlam, and I guess we're going to go over the card. You want to go over that? Do you think Ric Flair is a swerve?
What, do you think he's hurt? What do you mean?
So when you watch the video, Randy gets ready to punt him. He rushes to punt him, and the lights go out. And I guess they were trying to say that was like Retribution flipping the lights like they have been. And then Rick is laying on the ground, like, doing it, who's one of his pain moans are some of the best, like he's one of the best sellers ever. And, Drew comes out and tries to protect Rick after he kicks him. Do you think the lights went out on purpose because it's a swerve, or like Drew's going to think Ric Flair's going to, be in his corner and then help Randy win the title?
That'd be a good one. That would be that I wouldn't have seen that coming. If that's a swerve, that's a damn good one.
Because honestly, I'm on the bandwagon right now. I think Randy should win the title. I think he should get. I know it's his 14th title, but no one's hotter than him. He is despicable. And if Flair turns on Drew McIntyre and gives it just one more layer of how much of a piece of garbage he is, I think he's the hottest heel in the business right now. So, and then to have Drew chase him for the title, maybe up until, I can't see it being Mania though. Maybe you take Drew off him for a little while and then have Drew chase him, and Drew get his real win at the next Mania. I think that would be fun. I don't know. I think Randy's the right call right now for titles.
I can see it happening. I can absolutely see it happening. Like if the whole Flair thing's a swerve, then they can really not only beat Drew for the title, but they can put him out. Like they could pull something where Drew's injured or whatever. So this will give Randy the title and the momentum going forward, at least for a few months, while we bring in somebody new to fill that main event slot. I don't know who. It could be like a Kevin Owens, or it could be, anybody really, anybody that you want in that slot. They're talking about doing a Raw draft, or the WWE draft, so they could bring over like Big E or somebody from there, and they put him in the main event slot there, and then have Drew come back after a while, like maybe Survivor Series or Royal Rumble or something like that, and then go after the title from there. Because then hopefully by then we'll at least be close to having goddamn fans in the arena, and we can actually get a decent pop for when somebody makes a return.
Not till February. Not till February. Yeah. It's not till February. But I like that idea too. I think if anything, Randy should punt Drew McIntyre at the end and take Drew off television for a little while. Give him a breather. Yeah. He's been killing it since Mania. I mean, he's consistently one of the only good things that's happening on Raw since Mania. He's held himself as a really solid champion, like a smart, tough guy champion. Let him disappear for a while. Maybe give people a chance to like miss him and let Randy go wild. A Big E feud would be fun. Randy Orton versus Big E, that would be fun, man. And it's something different. When have you ever seen Randy Orton wrestle Big E? So I think you get the best you can out of the mileage that Randy Orton still has left. Because I smell him retiring probably after this title run, if he does have one. I see him retiring soon. He's done it all. Yeah, I think he's toast.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like he could retire. He could try and, Flair mentioned his record. Like, oh, I want to see you become a 17-time champion. I don't think he's going to be able to do it because he's getting a little up there in age. But you never know. We'll see. We're gonna have Shawn Michaels on this Monday.
Ooh. I'm sorry. What?
Well, it's gonna further that feud along with the after the Ric Flair thing came in. Did you see the commercial for it? They were like, oh, after the dastardly act, after what Orton did to Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels has something to say about it. And I'm like, what? He's just gonna come on and be like, hey, listen, I at least said I'm sorry, I love you before I ended his career. Like you just kicked him in the face for no reason.
Not only that, it's like I kind of hate Shawn Michaels, so I'm going to end up cheering Randy Orton when he punts him.
I mean, that's basically all it is, right? This is just a setup to punch Shawn Michaels in the face.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of enjoy it and see his weird eye roll around his head, and
Have you always hated Michaels, or is this a recent thing?
I've always hated Michaels since I respect him more than I should. I was a big Bret Hart guy, man. I always hated Shawn. I think I was kind of an old school guy, and when DX really blew up too, I thought he was kind of annoying. I didn't think they were funny, but I was more of an old school wrestling guy. And also I was just getting into ECW, and everything DX was doing was a kiddie version of what ECW was doing. So I thought they were kind of a joke. I mean, to anybody else that never saw ECW, they were groundbreaking, but to me, I just thought they were a joke. I was never a Shawn Michaels fan. Sorry, Marks.
I mean, it makes sense. I get it. That makes sense. It makes sense the way you said it. Let's talk about NXT for a while. We got NXT Takeover 30 happening on Saturday, August 20. Was that the 21st, 22nd? I think it's the 22nd. Yeah. This is happening in the Performance Center, like usual, even though they're talking about SummerSlam is going to be at the Amway Center in Orlando. So we'll see if that actually happens or not.
It's going to be some kind of outdoor setup.
But they're not allowing fans, which is weird. It's like, why change the setting? I mean, maybe just a different look. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
They're probably going to do like baseball. You can. They said there's going to be some kind of fan interaction. I wonder if they're going to do like baseball, and you can pay money, and they'll put cardboard cutouts of your face in the crowd.
Why not?
Why not?
Make that money.
Why not? You buy a T-shirt on WWE.com, and they put an image of you in the stands. I would buy a T-shirt just to do it. And if you spend or maybe it's like a tier system. You spend so much money, your face is lower and lower till you get all the way down the ringside. You gotta do fun stuff, man. It's everything's the same. It's AEW does something cool, and then WWE steals it and does it less cool. So AEW finally puts a crowd out there, and they sound like a legit crowd, and then WWE does a crowd. And then they basically boo and cheer for whoever the writers want them to boo and cheer for, and it sounds like not as fun. So do something fun that they can't really ruin.
Yeah,
if you
they'll find a way to ruin.
Buy a world title belt and you get front row seating. Your face is in the front row.
Yeah,
it'll still be that dork. It'll still be that dork in the green shirt with that military hat that sits in front of every single in the center of every pay-per-view. Bet money he does it.
I could totally see that happening. It's I got $500. Let's go. I'll be excited
for him and his friends every freaking pay-per-view. He's got the money. Douche.
All right, man. Let's go over Takeover 30 here real quick because there's a couple things going on. We got Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship. This has been looking pretty sweet. Io Shirai should definitely have all of the mic time that NXT. Her promos are killer every single week, man. Anytime, it's always a backstage vignette type of a collage. What do they call that? Like a video package that they put together for her promos. And it's always awesome.
Yeah, her vignettes are awesome. That under the water one. When I was joking about it, I wasn't making fun of it. I thought it was actually really cool and it was so different than anything else. Like, it was really trippy. I'm happy for Dakota Kai. This girl's been lingering in NXT for a while, and she's not a bad wrestler. I don't know what happened to Raquel Gonzalez. Maybe she's part of the COVID thing they had because she lost her heater. But she basically said in the most recent interview, she's like, no insurance policies, no nothing. I'm going to win this match. So, I'm actually looking forward to this match. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I see Io losing the title anytime soon. So we'll see how it goes.
I can't see that happening. We'll definitely see what's going to happen, but it's no, I can't see Io losing. There's too many other women's storylines going on right now with Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley. That one's really great. That's going on. I mean, it's just there's so much more that you can do with Io Shirai as well. So we'll see what happens with that. We also have Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. We talked a lot about this last week. Not too much to talk about. Nothing's really changed. It's still celebrity versus wrestler. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not really happy about it, and I don't understand why Triple H is involved. Like, oh, we're gonna make sure. Like, it's like, oh, shut up, just shut up. Like, you haven't been a part of NXT for how long? Like, he's not even part of NXT anymore. Maybe they're gonna put him. Maybe they're gonna put him in, but I'll tell you now, storyline wise, man, like what's going on in NXT, it doesn't look like he has any parts of it still. So, I mean, look at Drake Maverick. They pushed him as like the biggest baby face in NXT, and then he gets squashed on Wednesday night, or he gets jumped. And now Swerve Scott's in this position. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love Swerve, but it made no sense. So.
Well, Swerve was the only guy that ever beat him, right?
Yeah.
That ever beat Fantasma. So I guess that's what they're going with. That's the angle they're going with. It's like he keeps on beating down everybody, and now the one guy that he's never beaten is going after him. So I guess I don't know. I'm not too crazy with the whole, hey, I'm a foreigner and I have a mafia behind me because I'm rich. Like, that's been done to death. I'm just tired of it.
I understand that.
They're good workers and they put on great matches, so I'm still going to watch it. So
yeah,
either way, I just don't understand the storyline, but I'm for it. Then we got the NXT North American Championship match, the ladder match. It's going to be a 5-way. We know Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Cameron Grimes, of all people, are in it. I don't understand everybody's obsession with Cameron Grimes. But we also have, this week on NXT, we're going to have Gargano versus the new guy, Ridge Holland, who apparently loves rugby. He's very tough. Hello, rugby. Oh, I'm a tough man. I'm going to take you down. And we also have Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream. The winner of those two matches are going to fill up the last two spots. Let's talk a little bit about Velveteen Dream being back. That came out of nowhere.
I guess like whatever those accusations cleared up, and I guess he's okay, and good for him. Like if he was falsely accused and he got out from under it, I'm happy to see him back. He's a huge personality on NXT that was definitely missing. It looks like he's a heel now, and I don't know how that's going to go with him and Finn Balor. I'm actually, for the first time in weeks, I'm actually excited about a match on NXT, so that's going to be really good. I see Johnny winning. I see Johnny winning the other half, and then between Johnny, Dream, and Finn Balor, you got, two of those guys are going to go to the match and give the match more legitimacy and excitement by having their names in that match. I don't see the rugby player winning, but I don't know. Bronson's in the match, and they've been pushing him pretty hard. Cameron Grimes is a good wrestler. I just don't get his gimmick. I don't get him. Like, and Damian Priest has just been not handled well since he's been in NXT, so I don't understand any of that.
Yeah. They keep on trying to build Damian Priest up, and they don't do a very good job of it. I mean, he's a big dude. He has good matches, but I don't understand his gimmick. But put him next to Cameron Grimes, and he looks like $1 million, because Cameron Grimes is just as like this dirty looking hillbilly type with just like nothing going on. Like there's nothing that stands out. He looks like just a generic wrestler. Like he happens to have long hair and a beard. And he's with the black trunks, black boots. It's like there's nothing that stands out about the guy. And he, again, not a bad wrestler, but I can't point to one good Cameron Grimes match where I was like, oh no, you have to watch this to understand what he's all about. So
no, he has legit matches. It's like nothing to like write home about. It's not like get excited about. Like, oh, you have to watch this guy. It's not like that when he's on the screen, and that's the sad part. Sorry, I'm making stuff. I'm gonna be on fire for a second. But yeah, I don't see. I don't even know who wins this ladder match in the end. Do you really think they give it to Bronson, or maybe they push Damian Priest and try to give him a platform with a belt? Mm-hmm. I don't see Johnny or.
Honestly, it could go to. I think it could go to any of them. Johnny Gargano, like it really can't be the rugby player guy, the Ridge Holland guy, unless they're going to take him and they're going to just push him, like strap a rocket to his back, send him straight to the moon, push him hardcore. But as of right now, again, there's really nothing special about the guy other than he's like a big mean guy. Like all the backstage, the video packages that they put together for him, they're not really that impressive. He's just like, I play rugby. I'm mean. I'm going to fight. Yeah, I love to fight. I'm like, okay, cool.
Wear a weird hat and a weird coat. like his gimmicks so 1992, it's not even funny. So I don't see where they're going with him unless they turn him into a better character down the line. But yeah, I see Johnny beating him. How do you have a takeover ladder match without Johnny in it? I just don't know who's going to win the Dream Finn Balor match. But like, I'm not going to be mad about either one, because I know both guys are going to put in a ton of work in the ladder match. Mm-hmm. So, I'm excited for that one. That's definitely that. Once I saw the matches for this week on NXT, I'm actually excited for that match on Takeover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think I'm excited for the whole thing. Takeover is usually awesome. Again, they only have 4 matches booked right now, and there's still one more NXT show, so they're probably going to throw something else on there. It looks like they're pushing the Mercedes, what is her name, Rhea Ripley feud, so maybe we're going to see that. We could see the Swerve Scott and Phantasma thing. I don't know. We're still a week away. There's still questions to be answered. One more thing we got to talk about for NXT is Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, which I'm really looking forward to. I really like what they've been doing. The fireball actually jump scared me. Like I didn't see that coming. He opens up the contract, shoots in his face. Like I know people are saying it's stupid, but I'm like, nope, you got me. That actually scared me, and I thought that was cool.
I haven't seen a fireball stunt since Hulk Hogan failed his in WCW over 20 years ago now. If you remember, I think it was the Warrior or Piper. He tried to do a fireball in their face, and it didn't work. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was, what is old is new again, because you don't get to see stuff like that anymore. I thought Lee sold it well. I thought the only problem I have is I don't think Killer Kross was built up enough. I think he was kind of fast-tracked into this title match. And I don't know enough about him to get super excited, but it's Keith Lee, so I can't see the match being bad at all. So I'm looking forward to the match either way. I just wish there was like a little bit longer build-up to the match.
Yeah, I like the build-up of the match that they had. It's just the build-up of Karrion himself that I think
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like the build-up of Karrion. I think they could have made him look more of a monster before he went up against Keith Lee. I mean, now the guy has magical powers too, so it's like I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he has magical powers, or I don't know if he has them or his wife does, because she's the one that kissed the thing and then they lit on fire. So maybe that's the secret. He has no magical powers. She does. I don't know. Everybody has magical powers now in WWE. I don't know what's going on.
I'm fine with it. It's turning into the Harry Potter school. I'm fine with it. Yeah, but I am looking forward to the match. Every time I see Karrion Kross, he's always destroying somebody. He had a great match with Oney Larkin this week to rip right through him. So I'm looking forward to this match. Keith Lee is always amazing. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And then the next night we have SummerSlam. From what I'm hearing, a week from SummerSlam, they're bringing back Payback. So there's going to be another pay-per-view the following week.
What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know why. I have no idea. Just out of nowhere, it's like, yeah, we're going to add another pay-per-view. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if they even have a plan, or they're just like, screw it. Let's put them this close together.
I don't know, buddy. WWE is like the one thing we didn't even talk about AEW, but the thing is, this week, with the exception of Orange Cassidy winning, I thought AEW was an average show. But the thing is, their storylines are consistent. Their shows are consistent. I'm never confused on what's going on when AEW is playing. It's hard to talk about AEW because they're actually that good. Like, it's like, what are we going to say that's going to top what's really going on in AEW? Like, I thought the little swerve and the Rock and Roll Express getting their butts kicked was fun, because I kind of never liked the Rock and Roll Express when I was a kid. I kind of thought they were like redneck and trashy.
Damn, you hate Shawn Michaels, you hate the Rock and Roll Express. Is there anything, anybody else out there? It's like, oh yeah, Hogan, hated him. Warrior, hated him. Savage, he sucks. Piper, he was dumb.
Demolition sucked.
You never liked Demolition?
I told you, my dad introduced me to.
I'm done.
My dad introduced me to NWA when I was young, and once you saw the Road Warriors, Demolition was a joke. Demolition was an absolute joke once you saw the Road Warriors. And it's hard to explain to people, like, WWE shows like little clips of like the Road Warriors in WWE, and they show clips of Demolition. You have to find the old 80s Road Warriors, the 85, 86, like just what they did. They just beat people up. It wasn't even pretty how bad they would beat people up in the ring. It was so cool though. Face paint spike.
I think a lot of that stuff is on the network too. So if you have the network, you can go back and check some of that stuff out.
Yeah, if you really if you want to see what the Road Warriors were really about, try to find the old matches they had on like in like NWA. Like the NWA was. Ooh. Yeah, so Demolition sucked too. Where's Matt? Matt's probably like flipping shit over. Staring into his phone, just throwing. Or he sits and watches.
All right, let's run down the card for SummerSlam real quick here. This is another great example of WWE storytelling. We have the Street Profits, Andrade and Angel Garza. Montez Ford was poisoned a week ago. He seems okay now. They're still going to have the match. It's been a while since I don't know if I've ever heard of that guy got poisoned and that's why we're not having the match or anything like that. It's like, oh, like I've seen plenty of like, oh, this guy get hit by a car or whatever. Who did that? But this is like, we're gonna find out who poisoned Montez Ford.
It's not really a poison. They gave him sleeping pills. It's not a poison. Yeah. They threw NyQuil in his cup. That's what they did. Like, it's not a poisoning. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, the way Montez Ford played it off, he was just sleepy. So like, that's not poisoning. That's like, you took a couple NyQuil tabs and you just called it a day. So I don't know. It's going to be a good match. I mean, all four guys are great. They all have great personalities. Selena Vega adds a lot to the outside of the ring. I'm going to enjoy it. Match quality would be great.
Yeah, definitely. The hair versus hair match we already talked about. with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I think that's going to be great.
I'm legit excited.
Yeah, me too.
Because even if the match is terrible, I get to watch some hot girl. Both of them are beautiful. One of them's going to have to get their head shaved, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think Sonya's losing this one just because she always has that put your hair up and square up type of thing. So it's like, all right, now you don't got to put your hair up anymore. You can just shave it.
She also has she has a really cool like badass tomboy vibe to her. So
Yeah.
her with a shaved head, if she like, I think she could, use it. I think it'll work really well with her. Hopefully this breaks Sonya Deville out. I think she's, like I said, I think she's out of the female wrestlers. I think she's one of the most underrated. Definitely on the mic. I didn't know she was that good. Like she's finally getting time on the mic. I like it. I'm enjoying it. So like, hopefully something happens with it, man.
Yeah, she's been cutting some mean promos, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Sunday. We already talked about it, but again, Bayley versus Asuka and Sasha versus Asuka. I've heard a lot of people saying, that kind of takes away from a spot from another girl. But I mean, do you want to see Shayna Baszler versus Bayley with a weak setup to like a weak build, or do you want to see Asuka try and win 2 belts in one night from Sasha and Bayley? Because
better story.
that's what I would say.
Better story. And then on top of it, what else do you want to watch? You want to watch Ruby Riott again? Mm-hmm. But they completely destroyed that poor girl. Like which that's a girl that makes me angry every time she's on screen. She's probably one of the most talented girls they have, and she's so unique. And they do nothing with her, nothing. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see another match where she loses right now. Sorry, that doesn't do anything for me.
No, me neither. So
I'd rather see Asuka try to do it.
Yep, it's a good way to go for me, if you're asking me. We are talking about WWE doing good booking, but I think that this is it. That's good booking right there. I'm sorry.
It is. It's actually smart.
Yeah. We got Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States Championship. I'm liking the Hurt Business thing. I think it's a good look. Sorry, the Ouchie Club, whatever they're actually called. But yeah, I'm digging the whole faction. I don't think we're done with seeing members being added to it. I think maybe we see a Cedric or maybe Apollo even turns heel sometime. I think we're not done yet. So I think this is going to be building up.
I honestly think, and this is my fantasy booking opinion, I think this is when Cedric needs to turn and MVP takes the belt off Apollo's, because I think it was too quick for Apollo to come back and take his belt back.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was kind of dumb. They could have saved that for the pay-per-view, but I'm hoping maybe this is the big turn for Cedric and he gets to do something and be part of the Hurt Business. And then you have another storyline like we were talking about Drew McIntyre. Now you have Apollo chasing for his belt, and now he's got 4 dudes he's got to contend with. And maybe this will help re-elevate Ricochet, too, in the process. And then you have like Apollo and Ricochet versus these 4 guys that are just destroying them. And then you sprinkle a little R-Truth in there every now and then because, I don't know if the 24/7 title is going to, whatever. But, but I forgot whatchamacallit Shelton doesn't have it anymore. I forgot R-Truth got it back.
I haven't even, because I think Tozawa lost it too. Did he win it or?
Yeah,
I feel like something just happened. I forget what, but somewhere they got. He's like a 48-time champion right now. It's insane.
I think when Ric Flair talks about his titles, I think R-Truth should come out and just talk about how many titles he has. I think that would be fantastic. Right. More titles than you.
One thing we didn't talk about was Dominick Mysterio and Seth Rollins. Yeah. Dominic just still looks like a child. Like he needs to either shave or maybe even wear a mask. Like he just has that baby face of like, you are Rey Mysterio's child and you need to not be here. I'll give him a
look or do steroids like his dad did back in the day. Because like he has has no muscle development. He just looks like a normal dude. He has no look to him. His personality isn't great. Like he can wrestle. I mean, he can move from what he's actually done, but he's not his dad. He's not one of those. I don't think he's had time to show us if he's more than his dad. But right now, I'm not excited about it. Maybe this match will change my mind, and I'm hoping it does. Like, I'm hoping this kid can show me something that I'd like to be surprised. It would be nice to be surprised.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this match he shows us something that's, a little bit more than just Rey Mysterio's kid. Like he's really got to get in there. I mean, I've seen him move. I've seen him hit a couple moves. He can definitely take a beating from what we saw on the with the kendo stick. That was brutal. As a wrestler, like I think we've all gone through it at some point. We've had to get just that initiating beat down.
You wrestlers in your hazing
sucks, huh?
You wrestlers in your hazing.
Yeah, I know, right? It's not even hazing. It's just kind of like a can you take it? Will you show up next week? Type of thing. So we'll see. We'll see if he. I mean, it's a street fight now. They just changed it to a street fight. So we'll see if we'll see. Basically, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to judge the kid yet because this is his first match. So we'll see. Maybe he'll come out wearing a mask. He'll just look different.
Yeah, I hope he does. I hope he wears a mask and it's his own design and it's not Rey's. And maybe he has Rey's colors in it, but it's his own design. Like I said, I am not looking forward to this match. I am only looking forward to hopefully this kid can surprise me and show me, like, prove me wrong. Like, that's all I want. Like, I really haven't been excited about the storyline. I think a lot of wrestlers got knocked to the wayside for this kid, like seeing Aleister Black and all these, like, but with this being like a no DQ for him, and I think Seth just has to wrestle him. I got a weird feeling we may see Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black show up in this match and help him win, which then that tells me that he has nothing to show. And then I'm like, okay, well, if they have to carry that match. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm hoping this kid proves me wrong. That's all I'm saying.
What if he started calling himself Rey Mysterio Jr.? Wouldn't that be messed up?
No.
It's like, oh, no.
Right now I hear Cory doing a bad joke because his initials are DM, like him using lines like slip into my DMs and stuff like that. Cory making some bad pun about it. He's getting the underlayer of paper right now, so it's not gonna.
That's pretty much it. That's the whole SummerSlam card so far as it lies right now. We've already talked about McIntyre and Orton and Strowman and The Fiend. So
there'll be a couple matches added last minute, and it looks like it's going to be short and sweet. I think it's going to be short and sweet. Here's the thing. Which one do you think is going to be the cinema match? Because they're going to do a cinema match. Which one do you think is going to be the cinema match?
That's a good question. Maybe Mysterio and Rollins, since it's a street fight, they could actually do it on the street. Yeah,
I have a weird feeling that's going to be the cinema match. Why not? If he's not got the skill set, or he's not ready. I'm not saying he doesn't have the skill set, but he maybe that's a good way of doing it, is having him do a cinema match and make him look good in that. Have a blind Rey Mysterio come out of nowhere and jump Seth Rollins, and like I could see that. I could see another Goofy Street Profits thing too, like the whole where they introduced the ninjas and all that, which still I think is one of the most underrated cinema matches made. That one made me laugh my ass off. It was so dumb.
It was fun. It was just fun.
I had a blast with that. I laughed that whole entire video. It was a terrible wrestling match, but I laughed, and it was a nice break in the pay-per-view. So yeah, dude. Yeah, I got a weird feeling that's going to be the cinema match.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if that's the cinema match, do you make sure you don't end the pay-per-view like you did with the Swamp match? Because I think the Swamp match killed the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was a little rough. I gotta imagine that you wouldn't put. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of weird mystical element thing to the whole Strowman and Fiend business, but I would just do it as a straight up match. Just have Strowman versus the Fiend in the ring in front of the student crowd or whatever. See what happens.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's SummerSlam. Should we get to who wins wrestling this week?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it. Who wins wrestling? Blah, 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 blah. Mark, what do you got?
It's your turn to go.
Honestly, I'm calling Keith Lee just because of that whole angle with the fireball, man. Like I can't tell you how I thought that was so cool. Everything looked awesome. He signed the contract. Scarlett did the little kiss thing, slid it back. And he looked so weird about it when he sat there, and then he opened it, and then boom, fireball. I'm like, what the holy hell? That looked so cool. It legitimately scared me. I didn't see it coming. And anytime in wrestling when I don't see something coming, it gets a big thumbs up for me. So, yeah, I'm going Keith Lee.
Yeah, AEW was definitely the better show, but that scene with Keith Lee and Velveteen coming back were two major highlights in NXT. But the fireball caught me off guard because it was 5 minutes into the show too, so it wasn't like one of those things where they hit him with the fireball and then end the show like Raw tends to do a lot of times, and then you got to wait till next week to know what's going on. I kind of like how they did it within the first 10 minutes of the show. It's 5-10 minutes, so I like that. I'm going to go, even though we didn't talk much about him, I'm going with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, definitely.
He got his big win against Jericho. I think he's on his way, man. I think he's on his way to being one of AEW's at least top 3. I mean, Cody's turning heel, so I think there's going to be a void for a babyface and a big babyface of that. And I think Orange Cassidy's the one who's on his way to be that guy. And I thought it was really cool, and he's new, and he's not somebody we all know, and he's not a WWE reject. So I'm kind of happy to see that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, man. I'm coming around on the Orange Cassidy train. I wasn't at first. I thought it was just some weirdo with his hands in his pockets that was just like a one-trick pony. But he's really shown me something, especially over this past month. If he can stand in the ring and go toe-to-toe with Jericho and still look awesome, that's and this is Orange Cassidy being awesome. This isn't Jericho carrying him or making him look awesome. This is just Orange Cassidy. So yeah, he's really shown me something. So
he had a great match with Pac. Everybody forgets about, I like it, man. I like the fact that they're like, look, we're gonna build this kid up, and he doesn't remind me of Mick, but he's the first one I've seen since Mick that does comedy wrestling right. He's a comedy character, but when it's time to get serious and it's time to wrestle, that was the whole thing about Mick. Mick would turn. And then Mick would turn into a psychopath, and it was really well done. And I think this kid, he plays this this whole slacker gimmick, and it's fun. But then when he gets in the ring, he can turn it up, and he's got some skills. That kid's good, man. I think he's one of those, and now hear him on the mic, he might possibly be a total package wrestler. So I think AEW's sitting on any gold mine. He is the one who's moving the most merch in that federation. So. Good for them. The only thing I want to talk bad about, and I didn't about AEW, is stop with the 4 horsemen. Stop with the 4 horsemen. Bury it.
Yeah. It's not good.
I love the Horsemen. I was a huge fan of the Horsemen. They said my dad introduced me to Ric Flair in 1985, and it changed my life in wrestling. I stopped looking at the Hulk Hogan's and the Warriors and all that, and I started looking at real wrestlers. And it wasn't even because of Ric Flair, it was because of Arn Anderson. And I am tired of them trying to beat that dead horse. I think they should let it lie, and they're the greatest faction of all time. Let them be the greatest faction of all time. Try to invent something new. Make your own Make your own name. Make your own name. Everybody made fun of Inner Circle, and everybody made fun of that name, and now it's like Dude, that's the like faction of like all wrestling right now.
Mhm.
Bullet Club, stupid name. The faction of wrestling in the last 5 years. Like, you know, like just pick a name. Pick something new.
All right, man. That'll about do it. We're about out of time. Mark, you got anything to plug before we get out of here?
No. I haven't talked to Ed. Ed's about to take the bar. And once he takes the bar and his life loosens up a little bit, we're going to start talking about doing the show again. You're going to get really drunk and forget to talk about the show. Oh, it's one of those things.
One or the other.
I'm going to get out of here. I got to have hair put in now. I'm going to get extensions.
You got to get yourself.
Hair back to Cory.
My hair is getting a little longer than Cory's at this point. Jesus, I haven't had a haircut in almost a year. So we got
just do it.
I know it's just do it myself. Yeah, so that about do it for this show. Make sure to check out on YouTube. You can watch every episode of Rassle Rock that we recorded. It's tinyurl.com/YouTube Rick Connor, CONNOR. Damn it. And we can check it out our merchandise store at teespring.com/stores/Rassle-Rock. Everything on there is connected to a different charity, so help somebody out. I would plug Cory's stuff, but he screwed us over today, so screw him. And I have another podcast that I do with Mark's sister called It's Something to Do. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. And that will about do it for this episode of Rassle Rock. I'm Rick Connor.
Mark Hallbucker.
And until next week, how do I end the show? Oh, let's take it out like we always do with Mr. Nick Burke.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Join us again for another episode of Rassle Rock. This has been Jay Davis speaking.